Coming in, you guys, I want to do a live video. I have not gone live on the Living Low Carb Man page in a little while, and I wanted to bring this live to you guys here. A few days ago, I talked about starting a 40-day fast. So a few days ago, I announced that on my page, and so I thought, you know what, I owe you guys an update here on my main page, Living Low Carb Man page. So this is why I'm going live here. Usually when I do the lives and I show the simulcast over on Clubhouse, it's over on my Jimmy on Clubhouse page. So if you're not following Jimmy on Clubhouse here on Instagram, you can see all of these. But I wanted to come here because you guys are the ones that have been following me here at Living Low Carb Man. And I thought you would want to hear this update and see the whole thing over here on the main page. So thank you for being here. I am about to go live over on the Clubhouse app. So thank you for being here, and here we go. Coming in, guys, it is the Fasting Clarity Room. We're going to ping some people into the room, see if we can get a few people to pop in, join the conversation. I always love talking on Clubhouse. So many amazing conversations happening over here pretty much all day long. Starts early in the morning, goes all the way to the evening, and so many people interested in this topic of fasting. So I created an entire club just dedicated to the subject of fasting. So this is called Fasting Clarity, this club. And so we have all things fasting in this club. So we're going to just ping as many people as I can into the room. Bring over, because I want to unload on you guys all this mad knowledge that I have built up so far, a third of the way through. Hello, Ann. How are you? If you want to raise your hand and pop on up, I'll go ahead and just jibber jabber with you while we're waiting on a few more people to come in. I am live over on Living Low Carb Man, so hello everyone over there as well. Thank you for being here. I'm going to give an update on my 40-day fasting challenge that I decided to do. If you joined us and you haven't heard about this, last week I did a 7-day fasting challenge, and it was pretty much open. Oh, my friend Kat says she can't see me on Clubhouse. Why is it not open? I am looking. It should be open, Kat. Oh, now you are. There you are. She said I can't see you, and then she pops up. So thank you. Thank you for letting me know. So, hi guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're in the Fasting Clarity Clubhouse, and I was just telling the people over on Instagram, I'm on the at Living Low Carb Man over on Instagram. If you look in my bio here on Clubhouse, just click on my face and scroll to the bottom. You can see my Instagram page. But I'm live there right now, so if you missed any part of this, you can come in late. You can watch the replay over there. But I've been doing a fasting challenge last week. I did 7 days and did it here on Clubhouse and posted all the things. At the end of the 7 days, I was like, you know what? I feel really good. Why am I going to end it now? And so I decided, let's continue. And so I continued on with the fast. What started out as 7 days, and decided to just continue on. So today is officially in the middle of day 13 of this fast. And I want to say right around day 8 or 9, I said, I want to challenge myself to do something that seems impossible. The longest fast I've ever done before is 21 days, and I've done it 3 times. So I've gotten decently good at doing extended fasting longer than probably most people. But then I just got to thinking, I need something to push me, to challenge me. Why not try to go for the Jesus fast, 40 days and 40 nights? So that's what I'm doing. And I'm in the midst of that. Currently, as of like this hour, it's right at the 1/3 mark of getting there, which helps me psychologically. If I know I'm a third of the way there, then I know I just have to do what I just did 2 more times and it's done. But yeah, this has been so phenomenal, guys. And of course, if you followed the journey last week, you know all the usual suspects. First day is so easy. It's pretty much keto. If you eat OMAD, then first day of a fast is no big deal. Second day is where it got more troublesome. And I did struggle just like everybody does. Day 3, same thing. It kind of lingered a little bit. And then by day 4, I was pretty much in full on no hunger, no cravings, not even thinking about food. It's just been glorious since day 4. The only caveat to that, from a physical standpoint, everything's been fine. 2 days ago, though, emotionally, it got me good. I felt dread all day. I woke up in dread. Had to talk to friends. I think I talked to 4 or 5 friends on the phone that day. It was bad. I don't know what was going on. I wasn't thinking about anything specific. It was just some days when you're in the midst of a fast, I don't think we realize there's physical autophagy going on, but I think there was some emotional, maybe some spiritual component of autophagy happening as well, where things were just being released and I wasn't ready for that. So that was kind of a shocking aspect of all of this. And so a lot of people have said, well, have you lost any weight since you've been fasting so long? And I don't think you can fast this long without losing weight. And I obviously have some weight to lose. So yes, I stepped on the scale this morning. Hold on to your hats, guys. It's going to blow you out of the water. You ready? I have lost in 13 days 23 pounds. And so I know it's not a true 23 pounds because a lot of it is some of the water that's been released and things like that. But quite frankly, that's some water that needed to be released. And it's things that needed to be moving. And I was getting frustrated by the lack of movement. I've been pretty much carnivore for the past few years. And it's just not done anything. And I've been under an enormous amount of stress outside of COVID and all the craziness that was 2020. I have a personal issue going on in my life that's just still lingering and still ongoing. And so I tried doing a longer fast 7 days last year and only made it 30 hours. It was just too much. So when I decided to do this one this year, I thought, okay, if I can make it 7, I can make it longer. And I not only made it 7, I was feeling great and thriving. So that's why I decided to push it a little longer. Nick over on Instagram says, did you just consume water? Yes, water and salt literally is the sole sustenance that I'm having on this fast. And it's not as hard as people might think it is. I used to think you need bone broth. I thought you needed all these little crutches to get you through a fast. But honestly, when you add those things, I think you rob your body of the full benefits that come from a fully fasted state. So no other things but water and salt. In fact, those of you watching on Instagram, I keep a glass of water. There's the water. And I keep a little plate of Redmond's real salt next to me almost all day long. So I'm sitting there drinking, pinching, drinking, pinching, drinking, pinching. So I think the fact that I feel so good on day 13, I've done 4 podcast interviews today. I was on a couple other people's podcasts. I am doing a couple, and I have felt energetic throughout all of them, very lucid throughout all of them, no hunger, really no problems at all. And people are like, that's impossible. You have to be hungry. You haven't had food in 13 days. How can you sit here and lie to us, Jimmy? I don't know what to tell you other than get on a long fast and you'll see what I'm talking about. And it truly is magical. So let me turn to bowel habits. And if you're eating, I'm sorry, not sorry, because this is real life. If you go on a long fast, just expect your system to just go, because it's going to get rid of all the whatever that's inside of you that needs to come out. And earlier on in the fast, I had quite a bit of diarrhea. And I had some fasting experts on Clubhouse last week kind of explaining that if you have lingering diarrhea, it could be your body fighting something off that's inside your body. And so I shared on my story a few weeks ago that I developed this thing called a pseudomonoma, which is a bacterial infection that you get from bacteria that grows in like a pipe. And so my theory is I got the pseudomonoma when I filled up my hot tub with the backyard hose. And some of that bacteria got into the hot tub, got heated up, and then found its way inside my body. So it developed a huge rash on both insides of my thighs. The rash is still there, but it's healing. And I think this fasting has been unbelievably good for that. But some of the lingering issues with gastrointestinal things it's resulting in diarrhea. And to this day, every single day, I've had stuff come out. And people like, that's impossible. How do you still have stuff coming out the backside when you're 13 days into a fast? I don't know what to tell you other than it happens. It's here. I'm seeing it. It's real. And so that's been a big part of it. Some people have said, have you been tempted by food? Well, the good news is I live by myself. And so I'm not having to smell other people cook food, but people have actually posted pictures on Instagram that I've scrolled by. People also have been talking about food, like here on Clubhouse. And so all of these temptations, they're there, and it's cool. I don't mind people having those things. They don't really bother me at this point. I've done fasting for so long that I don't get tempted by other people and the choices that they make. That doesn't bother me as much as it did previously. But yeah, so I want to give you guys an update. If you just joined us, we're on the Fasting Clarity Room here on Clubhouse. I have a sister room called Keto Clarity where we talk about all things keto. But I thought, we need a whole Clubhouse just to talk about this issue of fasting because I have such a passion for it. And currently, I am trying something I've never tried before. I'm going on the Jesus fast. 40 days, 40 nights of water and salt. And as of right now, day 13, I'm 1/3 of the way there. Definitely just wanted to give you guys an update. And I'm definitely interested in hearing what you have to say about fasting. So come on up. We got a lot of people on stage now. Some people that joined me last week on this fast. So Jennifer, you are one of those. Are you thinking I've lost my mind trying to go for 40 days, Jennifer?
Well, I'm pretty amazed, Jimmy. Because as people in here probably know, I made it 3 days. I made 72 hours, and then I had to step out. That was my first longest fast, but 40 days is incredible. I'm curious, how will you know when to stop? Are you just going straight for the 40 days, or is there anything that would stop you along the way?
That is such a great question. Thank you, Jennifer. So yes, obviously, I have tried to manage my stress through all this. That's another point I wanted to bring out. If I get stressed to the point that my body just convulses on me, and it's happened before, on one of my 21-day fasts, I went traveling to Myrtle Beach on vacation, and I thought, okay, I can keep up the fast and then break it once I'm there on day 21. It was day 17 and a half. And so I think, okay, no big deal. And like the whole drive, my stomach just starts gurgling at me. And I get there and my stomach growls for like an hour and a half straight. And I'm going, what is happening? I'm not upset, but it was the happy stress. So any stress, good or bad, will impact. So I'm trying to manage the stress. So if I get stressed, Jennifer, that will be my telltale sign. I'm not going to let it linger for an hour and a half of hunger before I put food in my mouth. I was so upset too because I was like, I've made it so far. How can I stop now? So that would be one. And obviously any physiological thing like that where the stomach just growls and won't stop growling. I'm honest when I say this. My stomach has not growled this whole time. Gurgle, yes. Do a little flip-flop here and there, yes. Have the kind of flood of head hunger, yes. But as far as like like real hunger, like it's helped me hone in. What is real hunger? There's so many cues we get all day long that we think is hunger, and it ain't hunger at all. And so I would have to feel that authentic hunger for me to truly end this fast at any point before the 40 days.
Really interesting. Well, I'll follow along. I think it's fascinating, and I really enjoyed being a part of the 7-day fast last week, and I learned so much. So thanks for sharing all this.
Thank you, and thank you for joining me last week. That was a lot of encouragement to me, seeing so many people involved in the corporate fast. Rhonda, is that Rhonda? I see RC. RC?
Yes, that's me.
Yeah, that's right. See, you changed your photo on me, so I was like, I think that's Rhonda.
It definitely is. I am so excited for you on your path. When I saw 1/3 of the way there. I just had to come in and just give you a high five virtually. Um, just sharing a bit of my good news. Went to the doctor, got some positive reports back, and I gave her some positivity, and I credit, this whole keto movement.
Yes.
And you came along and gave a lot. My one question, well, of course I have many, but I'll just stop with one. My one question is, if if it's said that we need calories on a regular basis and macros on a regular basis, how is it that you can go for so long without food?
What a great question. You got Jennifer, you started it off. You started the trend, Jennifer. So thank you for that. Really great question. And Rhonda, she's asking the question, you guys. And by the way, we're live over on my Livin' Low Carb Man page over on Instagram. I usually, for those of you watching on Instagram, go live on Jimmy on Clubhouse. But because I let you know I was doing this 40-day journey of fasting, I wanted to bring you in on this one here today. So thank you guys for being here. Please write your comments because I'm interacting with you as well. How are you eating when you're not eating? Don't you need to eat food to eat, Jimmy? Wow, how are you surviving? How are you so energetic? How are you not dead right now? Is that what you're thinking, Rhonda?
Well, I got other but
Uh-oh.
I want you to.
Rhonda, yeah, there you go.
I just want you to tell me more. I know about the fat stores, which I have a lot of.
Yes.
But I want you to tell me more.
Yeah, so what happens when you go on a fast? Think of fasting as like a sped up form of the ketogenic diet. So the ketogenic diet, through a fed state, mimics a lot of the effects of fasting. So you're dumping glycogen stores, you're shifting the body over from sugar burner to fat burner. All of that is from a low carb, moderate protein, high fat diet. So when you go fasting, it just speeds up that process. So yes, you further dump the glycogen stores, which is getting rid of all the rest of the sugar. This is why electrolytes are everything. Water is everything. When you're fasting, you need to be consuming those things to replenish. And throughout the fast, you need to be replenishing. So then when you dump all of that and you've successfully shifted your body from full-on sugar to full-on ketone burner, it shifts usually around the 3 or 4 day mark. There's a dramatic shift where blood sugar comes way down, blood ketones go way up, and when that happens, the body is primed to then go, okay, the dummy's not feeding me anything, so we've got to look for other sources of energy on the body. A lot of people think, well, it's going to go after your muscles. Why would it prefer muscles first? Muscle is protein, and you can't get an energy substrate out of protein nearly as well as you can glucose, which is sugar and carbs, or the other one is fat. And this is why stored body fat is tapped into. And if you missed it earlier, I'm on day 13 of this 40-day fast, and I've lost 23 pounds. So Rhonda, I have been eating like all get out on my stored body fat, which is kind of why we eat keto. And not that I'm doing this for the fat loss, although I'm not going to bemoan it. I'm liking that. But sometimes we just get so caught up in thinking we have to put food in the mouth in order to be eating, which should then make you think, okay, how much of my regular day-to-day diet am I eating that I'm not taking into account? Maybe my body wants to eat as well, which is why I think intermittent fasting works so well. It, on a much slower basis, taps into that same mechanism. That makes sense, Rhonda?
Makes so much sense, and I like the way you said that I'm just eating away.
Yep.
Your body is still eating, and when I explain it to others, that'll be a key point to help them understand, because I finally did 36. In 2 weeks, I'm going to go for 48, and then, keep it going just to see if I can, do it. But you did mention one time that after a long fast, you can expect to gain some of that weight back. So can you talk about that, and then I'll be quiet. Thank you.
No, thank you, sweetie. That was wonderful. That's another wonderful question. So yes, I've lost 23 pounds. If I was to end the fast today, I'm not. But if I was to end the fast today, I would probably, within the next few days, gain back somewhere around 70 to 80% of that weight. So what's happening? You're replenishing your water. You're probably filling up somewhat of glycogen stores. Even from just a meat-based diet, you're going to fill up some of those glycogen stores because some of that gluconeogenesis will turn to glucose, put it back in the muscles again. It's always kind of a preservation because the body needs glucose. So it figures out a way to make it from the food you eat, or in the case of fasting, from the fat on your body. It creates it that way. So yes, you will gain back some of the weight, but see, this is where having strategies after it's over. I'm already thinking way ahead, not just what I'm going to eat at the end of the fast, but then what am I going to do to keep those benefits going? And in my book, The Complete Guide to Fasting, Dr. Fung and I talked about it. If you're trying to induce fat loss, one of the ways you can keep the benefits up of extended fasting is when you're done, break the fast, have that meal, enjoy it, go to sleep, wake up the next day, fast. But then wake up the next day after that, eat your regular meals and get adequate calories in there. And then the next day, fast. So that's called alternate day fasting. And Jimmy is going to be implementing, hopefully I make it the 40, but whenever this fast ends, I will break the fast. I will get plenty of fat and protein in my body, make sure I'm well nourished, and then fast the next day, and then da-da-da-da-da. I'm almost thinking, Rhonda, as I get into this more, I may do a 2 on, 2 off. So alternate day, 2 days of fast. So 2 days on of eating, getting plenty of nutrition, not skimping on those days, and then 2 days of fasting. So yeah, I feel so good. And it's been frustrating. I know a lot of people have said this to me. Oh, COVID hit and I've gotten in a rut and I can't get out of the rut. And I'm thinking, try fasting. Just try it. Just see how you do. It's not going to harm you to go without food for a period of time. We think in our day and age of superabundance of food that we need to be eating all the time. And really ancestrally, the way I'm doing this now, maybe not 40 days, but they could have gone weeks between animal kills. And then what did they do? They were fully fasted for weeks. What did they do when they had an animal kill? They gorged themselves to death on that bad boy. The fat, the protein, and they just filled their bellies up. And guess what happened after that? They started fasting again. So ancestrally speaking, what I'm doing is more normal in the history of humankind than what everybody else is doing out there, eating 3 square meals a day with snacks.
Last question. Although I'm only 4 months in, is that something I could do, like fast 2 days and eat calories the other days? Is it ever too soon to start that type of fasting? And I promise I'm going to the audience.
No, these are wonderful questions, Rhonda, and I always appreciate your contributions and your support of me here on Clubhouse. Yeah, I think it's going to be highly individual. I think you can try anything. This is what I want everybody to know. You can try anything to see how it works for you. There is no right or wrong. You kind of determine, do you feel well enough to do that? Do you feel the hunger is under control enough? Like, if you want to give it a go and see how that does for you, that could be a strategy. Again, I don't think it will harm you. If you do something as long as me, definitely see a physician and be under a doctor's care. Again, for those of you that came in late, I have 3 medical doctors that I check in with regularly throughout this fast. One of them has been concerned about my electrolytes, and I said, I promise you I'm keeping up with that, because you can have heart health issues if you don't keep the electrolytes balanced, but I've kept mine balanced. But yeah, just tinker with it, Rhonda, and you see me around these rooms. If you try it, I definitely want to hear your experience, but thank you for coming up on stage. And guys, if you just joined us, we're going to reset the room. You're in the Fasting Clarity Clubhouse. I created this as the sister club to Keto Clarity Clubhouse. If you're not following my and subscribed and members here, definitely go hit the green house at the top. I would love to have you here. We got lots of people I'm potentially going to be bringing on to this clubhouse, but currently I decided to go crazy, do a 40-day fast, and as of right now, I'm 1/3 of the way there. So I want to get your thoughts on this. Jess is brand new to Clubhouse. What's up, Jess?
Hey, Jimmy. How are you?
Hey. Thanks for being a fan and always supportive of my work.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you that you've made it this far in. And, kudos to you. And I hope that you keep having smooth sailing.
Thank you.
So my question is this: I am a wife and a mom, and even though I've been keto for years, fasting is still that doesn't really impact my family for me, or I've navigated that already. But fasting can seem to be, a disruption to the normal day to day. I'm still cooking, for my family, and while I'm not eating, and then it can be, socially awkward. And then just to have the discussion with maybe a person who loves you, that lives with you, explaining, hey, I'm about to embark on this longer fast. They're obviously concerned. Maybe they think that is disordered eating.
Yes.
What kind of advice would you give to people that are just kind of struggling with navigating those conversations?
I couldn't have planted better questioners in this audience today, because you guys are bringing the fire questions. I love that one. And you're right. Family will judge you up, down, in between, sideways, and all around. And it depends on the personality type of the people you're trying to talk to. If they're very anecdotal minded and you can tell stories, say, hey, I've been really reading a lot of people doing really well. There's a friend of mine online on Clubhouse is doing this 40-day fast. He seems to be doing well. So if anecdotally and stories works, use that. I did write a book called The Complete Guide to Fasting, and in there we provided a lot of science that supports this. You could talk about the autophagy if they're really nerdy into the science as well. You could bring that aspect of things up. And even just look at, how did cavemen eat? Think about that. How did cavemen eat? Oh, wait, they didn't eat every day. Oh, wait, they had to go many days sometimes between meals. And we have the same DNA as our Paleolithic ancestors. And so kind of using logic and history and science to kind of lay it all out. And then if they still don't support, then maybe don't tell them and just somehow work your way into it. Now, as far as the mealtime, you say it's awkward. One of the things that could be helpful is have you a bowl of water and salt, and then eat it with a spoon like you're having soup. So you're there at the table with your family, and nobody's none the wiser. You're not eating all the rest of the food unless they're pedantic about it. Most people are like, oh, it's the commune experience of eating a meal together. So if you're eating, quote, you're eating your water and salt, I think that could give you just the in at the table that maybe puts that guard down. I know it's not a perfect thing, and just know at the end of it all, you have to do what's best for you. And if you feel like this is right for you, just ask for the support. And this is a spouse you think that might be questioning you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, because kids might notice and say oh, mommy, why aren't you eating or whatever. You can kind of placate them a lot easier.
Yes.
Than another adult that lives with you. Yeah.
Well, and the husband knows that you've been on this health journey and you've done a phenomenal job. Just say, I've done a lot of, research on this and I want to give it a go. And if there's concerns, then I'll obviously stop. There it is. That's what you can say. This is not starving myself. I don't have an eating disorder. Starving yourself and having an eating disorder means you're out of control. You have a disrupted relationship with food. No, fasting is you've got a complete control of the entire process, and you're choosing for a period of time to go without eating for the purposes of improving your health, the autophagy like we were talking about, which generally happens within 72 hours fully, but it starts happening around 18 hours in. Yeah, I think you can probably explain it to an adult a whole lot better than a kid anyway. Oh, I've already eaten. You could tell a kid, oh, okay, mommy, and that's it. But the adult, you kind of have to give some reasons. So if he's a reasonable person and he loves you, obviously, as your spouse, just say, hey, I've done my research. I want to give it a go, and we'll see how it goes. And, of course, you know me personally now. So reach out to me if you have questions, or if he has questions. I'm always happy to help walk off the ledge.
Thanks, Jimmy. And that's a really, really good idea, too, about kind of sipping the salt water.
Yes.
And sitting down with your family.
And it tastes so good, Jess. When you, I've been putting salt under my tongue throughout this fast, and I'm just oh, I feel like I'm having chicken noodle soup. It's just that salt that our body's craving.
Yes. So one more follow-up question, and then we'll pass it to somebody else. But I noticed that you're just only having, salt. What about other electrolytes like magnesium and potassium? And what do you think about supplementing with, an electrolyte brand that you we
Yes.
normally take otherwise on keto. What are your thoughts on that?
Wonderful question again. Let me address the magnesium one first. So I do use, I haven't used it a lot this fast just because I've been okay. If I started to not be okay, I was going to pull this out, but I've got them in my hand now. Keto Chow, the company that makes the high fat shake, they also make these things called fasting drops. And so it's got sodium concentrated and concentrated magnesium. And you drip it into your water and you drink it and you get it that way. So I have used those in the past, but this fast I have done so well with the Redmond's Real Salt, I haven't needed it. Now, as far as the potassium, the reason you don't take potassium, and this was explained to me by Judy Cho, who was recently on the Living La Vida Low Carb show. She wrote a book called The Carnivore Cure, I believe is the name of the book. And she said, a lot of like carnivore people think they need to eat an avocado to get potassium in their body. Well, actually, if you get adequate sodium, there's a nice little mechanism within the body that naturally regulates that ratio between sodium and potassium. So you don't necessarily need to eat potassium and to take potassium in food or supplement form in order to get that balance. Get your sodium up enough, and then it will balance out naturally in the body. And the fact that I feel so good tells me my electrolytes are pretty well balanced.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I follow her on Instagram, and I've been eating, pretty mainly carnivore-ish for the past, couple years.
Yes.
That's so interesting about the potassium especially because most of the really popular brands on the market are including potassium as well, in their electrolyte mix. So that's super interesting.
Yes, I think so many people, they feel like they hear deficient in sodium, potassium, magnesium, that they think they need all three, not realizing that mechanism between sodium and potassium. So yeah. Always learning. I've done this 17 years and I'm still learning stuff. So
Right. Yeah, me too. And I heard something kind of interesting lately too, in that, because we kind of demonize sodium, falsely or unnecessarily, especially for people on a low carb diet. But it was kind of interesting, that link between the sodium and potassium balance. Like, what if we stop telling people to eat less sodium and actually tell them to increase their potassium if there seems to be an imbalance there?
Yep.
I thought that was kind of interesting too.
Yep.
Yeah.
You nailed it. That's right. Well, Jess, thank you for your insightful questions.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you. And Mel, you're up next. You were up early with me on the show this morning at 6 a.m. Eastern. Hi, girl.
Hey, I was. I just wanted to say that it's amazing that you are on day 13, because I just finished my first 24-hour fast. I'm actually breaking it right now. And I was a little nervous while I was thinking about this yesterday. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do 24 hours. Like, let's just do this and try it out. And probably at hour 22, I was like, I have so much energy. And I ended up going for a 3-mile hike today and wasn't like running towards the food. So I'm just so shocked at that. But also, don't ever think that I can make it the 13 days that you've made it so far. So.
Well, and maybe you don't need to. That's the point as well. And let me give that caveat across the board here. I'm doing this fast. That doesn't mean you need to do a super long fast. But also, I've fasted forever, and I see my friend Kat just came up on stage. She's also a veteran faster and is currently doing a long fast, so I look forward to coming to her in a second. But yeah, don't psych yourself out that, well, oh wow, I could never do what Jimmy's doing. Well, yeah, it seems that way, but we used to say the same thing about we could never give up bread. We could never give up pizza. But what did we do when we went keto? We did all those things. Did it happen easily without kicking and screaming? No, we were all kicking and screaming. But eventually we realized, hey, it's not as bad as we think. And you work your way up to it, Mel.
It's pretty cool. I just can't even believe how good I feel right now.
Yes.
I know you were talking about this morning about the digestive issues that come along with it.
Yes.
And stuff. And I'm dealing with that now. When I first started it, I've been keto for 4 weeks now. So when I first started, I couldn't have a bowel movement at all. And now I feel like, oh my God, I can't keep anything in me. And I'm wondering if that will even out at some point.
So keep in mind that the first few days, and it's gonna be graphic, guys. You wanted to hear all the full Monty of this fast. I'm gonna tell you all about it. the first few days, it was like explosive coming out the backside. And it's like people are like, whoa, what is that? And I think it's your body just saying, you got some bleep that needs to come out. And so it gets it out of you. And like I said, I'm in day 13 and I'm still having stuff come out. So I don't think people even realize. They think they stop eating. A couple of days later, everything's clean as a whistle. No. There's still stuff. And especially if you have healing that needs to take place in the body, it's all the more prevalent. So, and I've been using a little bit, because I've been having so much trouble with the gastrointestinal stuff, I've been using a little bit of a binder of activated charcoal to help gently pull that stuff out. And it has helped a little bit, but get you a good quality one. I'm about to start taking this one called Bind. I had a friend of mine send me some because she knew I was doing this long fast. And she said, let me send you some of this really good binder. It's called Bind. It's activated charcoal and some other things that will help get those toxins out of you. So yeah, it's been fun.
Well, awesome job, and I love listening to you, and I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow morning without you guys at 6 a.m., so I look forward to Monday morning.
Well, hang in there and just know you're thought about, and I appreciate your support of my work. Michelle, you're up next. Welcome to Clubhouse. Got the party hat. What you got for us, sweetie? Michelle going once. You got to hit that little button down in the lower right-hand corner, Michelle, and that will unmute you because you're probably talking and going, why can't he hear me? Let me see if I can unmute you. Nope, doesn't let me unmute you. Oh, now you got it. There you are.
Okay, 2 questions, if you don't mind.
Sure.
First one is, I'm just curious what your intent is with this fast.
What intent? Is that what you said?
Why are you doing this?
Yes. So I'll start with that one and then hold your second question. I'll come back. So why am I doing it? I think from a physical perspective, I have become frustrated that I have been pretty clean in what I've been doing and not seeing movement in weight and just general feeling good kind of things. Like keto carnivore has helped a lot of things and I'm very grateful. But quite frankly, I still have weight on the body and I don't like that. I want to try to help move that needle a little bit because it can be problematic if you leave weight on the body for too long. So that's one. I'm going to mute you while I'm talking because you're making noise in the background. Sorry about that, Michelle. Number 2, it has nothing to do with physicality. I need the challenge. I feel like I've reached this point in my life where I need something to accomplish, and 40 days seems impossible. And so when you go after things that seem impossible and then you do them, do you know how empowering that is and that feels? And so for me in my life, I'm going through a transitionary time with some things in my past and then letting those go and entering this new era of my life. It's kind of symbolic as well. I'm also a Christian, so this 40-day period hits Easter right around day 36. And then I go 4 more days and I've got the Jesus fast. So some of that's playing into this as well. All right, so you can unmute yourself now.
Okay, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. Now, I've done a 72-hour or 74-hour successfully.
Yeah.
However, last week I was trying for like another extended fast, as long as I could. And I got like such anxiety. I had to break my fast. Do you have any experience with that?
Oh, yeah.
Anybody in the group?
Oh, yeah. On day 3 of this fast, I almost had to break it because I was on Clubhouse, actually. And I was in a room and something ugly was said to and about me. And I got upset. And I was trying to stay chill, but my whole body started shaking. I was upset. It's hard to make Jimmy upset, but I was super upset. If you knew what he said to me, you would know why I was upset. Let's just say it was bad. I don't want to get triggered again. So I had to bring myself down, Michelle, and it took it took 2.5 hours. I meditated. I slow breathed. I went out and put my feet in the grass and grounded. I got into the sunshine. I did some positive affirmations. I had to basically calm myself down. And here's physiologically what happened before I did all those things. My stomach growled for 45 minutes in a row. And I knew what it was. That's what made me so mad about it at the time is I know why I'm hungry. It's not physical. It's reactionary to this emotional thing that happened. Do you know within 2.5 hours, I turned that back around and I calmed down. And today I'm on day 13 because I didn't quit. So when you get in those anxious times, do those things. Slow your breathing. Get outside in the sun. Play some happy music. Just do something to change the mood because most of this fast is not physiological. It's mental. And if you get that in your head that this is a mental game, you will survive and make your goals.
I think I'd say amen to that because it definitely is mental. I mean, sometimes I break it just because, like, maybe I've done 42 hours. I feel great. I could go longer.
Yes.
But I just want to eat because I should normally would be eating, you know. But yeah, I think the anxiety, it was a lot going on at work, and I do need to come up with some relaxation techniques.
So I'm going to give you one. You ready?
Yes.
So this is a breathing technique I only recently learned about in the past year, but it's called 4-7-8. So it's 4 seconds of inhaling. So inhale for 4 seconds, then hold it for 7 seconds, and then exhale for 8 seconds. So 4-7-8, and everybody listening right now, do the 4-7-8 before bedtime like 3 or 4 times in a row, and you will fall fast asleep, I promise you. So yeah, that'll help you out, Michelle.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. And speaking of sleep, I didn't mention how that's been going. So I've been struggling with my sleep a little bit, not bad. There was a couple of nights where it was the diarrhea that woke me up, not that I wasn't resting. But the last 2 nights I wear this Oura ring, so that lets me track all my 4 stages of sleep. And so the last 2 nights I've had a huge sleep score. I've had over 3.5 to 4 hours of sleep each night, of deep sleep, the really good quality deep and REM sleep. In fact, last night was one of the best nights I've had. I had 7 hours total, and 3.5, 4 of it was this really good quality. So it does disrupt your sleep early, but then it gets better later. And I think a lot of that is where the hormones are trying to adjust to, why isn't Dummy up there putting food in my mouth? And so, yeah, I was so glad. And so I'm going to try to keep that going. And that also helps to relax you and keep you on track. Kat, my friend, how are you? You're also doing a long fast right now. What you got for us?
Hey, I'm like you, just a couple hours behind you, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel so amazing. Like, why would I ever? Now I just question, why would I ever end this fast?
Yes.
How I ended. I feel so good.
It's the freakiest feeling, isn't it? When you're like day 12, 13 in a fast, you're like, I don't think I ever want to eat again. Now, of course you will. Let's not scare people, but you have that feeling like you don't have to eat. Why do I feel so good?
Yes, no hunger, like whatsoever. You know, like I'm experienced in that area, and but that's my personal record too. I never did longer than 12 days, and today is like day 13, and I feel so good.
Yes.
I have no hunger at all. My sleep is really nice and deep and restorative, and I don't know how to explain how well I feel, and like how I want to hook up to that fasting thing as many people in my life as I can, because people like, how you doing? They look like I don't know. They look at you like you weird. Like you must be really sick and hungry and suffering, and just like, no, I feel good. I feel great. I have lots of energy.
Yes.
I have lots of energy, and it's just like, at the beginning of the fast, even after day 3, you have those hunger that comes in waves.
Yes.
And goes back.
Yes.
Because of your natural hormones, how it's like, if they know, like your hormones, they know like how when you typically eat. So that wave of hunger just comes, and no matter what you do, you eat, you not eat, it goes away.
Yes, and it's
now,
not.
I don't even have that.
And it's not long either. That's the thing. People think, oh, you're just going to get this hunger and it won't go away till you eat. You want to bet? I think your body's like, okay, hello, hello, hello. And then it just, all right, they're not home. Let's go to the next home. And so, yeah, people are shocked by that.
Yeah, of course. As I said, I'm not planning to do 40 days like you do, but I'm not sure how many days.
Well, you're already at the longest you've ever done. I think you told me 12 days was the longest you've ever done. So now you've already beat that.
Yeah, but I don't want to stop right now because I feel good.
Well,
like I'm just really gonna look for some signs for me to end the fast, like low energy, stuff like that. It's like.
And mad props to you because you got little ones at home, and that would freak and stress me out to no end. So.
They on my nerve.
Yes.
All the time.
But you're managing your stress with it, Kat. You're managing your stress really well.
It's not a stress anymore, like, yeah, but like I'm cooking all the time, and that never prevents me from fasting.
That's cool.
And the funny thing, my husband, like, again, had to go on a trip for work, and he was home for like quite some time, and I think he didn't even notice that I was fasting. Like Jess mentioned before, like, how would you explain? If you need to explain that, educate why you're doing that, what's really behind that fasting thing, all those health benefits.
Yes.
Plenty of books. Yours are the best one, I think. And
thank you.
And you just like explain, and and you just go with it, and it's just like they'll be fine. Then the people around you not that really concerned about like feeding you actually.
Right.
As long as they are fed.
That's true.
They may notice something. It's like, oh, I snack. I don't feel like eating. I'm gonna eat later a little bit. Just like, and they're not gonna notice that you didn't eat later.
Can you guys tell Kat loves fasting a lot? So, and you've done this for a long time, and you're a medical doctor as well. So you have that training in your background, and you know the risks associated with cardiovascular and the imbalance of electrolytes. But that doesn't concern you?
No, nothing. No. And my husband, I think he did the longest fast. He had one tragic moment in his life. I think it was a year and a half ago, and he just never fasted longer than 24, 36 hours, and he went straight to 11 days.
Whoa. Whoa, that's a jump.
Amazing.
That's a jump.
Amazing. And he was all the time, he was away from home, he was on the road, doing the work stuff, like doing travel and stuff like that, and he had nothing.
Wow.
Except he had his black coffee every morning.
Wow.
He had his coffee, and he did that, and he said, like, this is the most amazing thing I did in my life.
See? So for that spouse earlier that was talking about, oh, wow, that's crazy. Do it with me, honey. That would be the way to get them in, right?
This is the thing, Jimmy. You cannot explain how you feel on a fast until you actually fast.
So, guys, just for the record to remind you, she's on day 13 of a fast just like me. I think we're the two most energetic people in this room right now.
Yep. Yeah. And I did plenty of things already today. Much needed shopping for home, and did some gardening stuff, doing with my raised beds. Took kids for a little hike on the neighborhood.
Yes.
And I'm gonna continue to do landscape and little hike on the sunset as well.
Yes.
And plenty of energy, plenty of stuff, and like.
So, Kat, thank you for coming up. I'm going to get to the rest of the people. Got a lot of people want to talk to me, but thank you for demonstrating what. Basically, we have two people on 13 days of a fast, and we're showing that you can be completely energetic and lucid and everything. And I just wish you well. I think you said you want to try 15, and then you're going to call it quits.
Yeah, I'm gonna see how I feel on day 15, 16, and then I'm gonna see. Maybe definitely not longer than, I don't know, 3 weeks.
Yeah, you've already beat your all-time high, so that's great.
I already bought my shorts from a kids department. I'm gonna be baby next year.
Yeah, that's cute. Well, Kat, thank you so much for joining me on Fasting Clarity. Joshua, you are up next. Joshua there? Joshua, you got to hit that little unmute yourself in the lower right-hand corner and you can talk. Joshua, I see your photo. I know you're there, bro. All right, we're going to come back to Joshua. Shanna, my dietitian friend, what's up, my dear?
Hey, Jimmy, how are you?
Hey, I'm super duper.
Yeah, last week when we interviewed each other, you were on day 5 or 6.
Yep.
Gonna do a 7, so super impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah, a couple of the things that I wanted to ask were already addressed with, the family issues. I have 3 kids, and mine are older, so they kind of understand if I'm on a longer fast. I'm just not eating today. I'll be fine. I feel great. The other thing was electrolytes. But the third thing I wondered about with your longer fast was exercise. Because I teach a lot of people about intermittent fasting and cleaner eating, high fat eating. And those are probably the top 3 questions that I get. Like,
yes.
I exercise in a fasted state all the time, but I do mostly day-to-day intermittent fasting, some 24-hour fast that I do strength training in. And,
yes.
and I've been starting to do a little bit longer fast before my strength training days because I feel so good when I'm at least 20 hours when I do strength training.
Right.
So my question to you is, during the 40-day fast, are you doing more just, more of the leisurely kind of stress management exercise? Do you do any harder exercise when you're fasting, or where are you at with that?
Wonderful question, and it's a simple answer, Shanna. And I explained this last week when I was in the first 7 days, but I'll go ahead and repeat it here. You need to look at fasting as like you broke your leg and you got it put back together again. Would you go back to the gym and work that leg yet? No, because you have a purpose in mind for it to heal. And that's the way I'm viewing this fast, this 40-day fast is it's a time for Jimmy's body to heal. And so adding in an additional stressor on top of the healing is going to be the antithesis of healing. So number one, I'm bringing in no nutrition this deep into a fast. The best thing I can do is just monitor my energy levels, make sure that I feel good. Because here's the thing, people don't realize, especially if you do like a glycolytically demanding type of workout, you're going to just push your body to become hungry. So yes, I'm walking, I'm laying down if I need to, I'm doing as little kind of movement as possible because that's not my goal. I'm already though planning, Shanna, you'll love this. When this is over, when I start feeding again, I want to experience some of the improvements I've seen from this fast. I want to hit it hard on the exercise because you get growth hormone boosting in the midst of a long fast. And so I want to feel what that feels like, and my muscles will be ready to take on that extra exercise. I've got me a tractor tire on the side of my yard over here that I love to flip and do really high intensity intervals with that tractor tire flipping. And so in this moment, no active exercise, but I'm going to hit it hard when I start feasting.
Awesome. And that's usually what I'm telling clients too. Like, I've never gone past 3 days, but in the second and third day, the walks were amazing. And that's what I limited myself to, just because that's what my body wanted and
right.
what it needed, and the fresh air. And
it's relaxing.
Just to get past those kind of that rough time where, you're kind of running out of glycogen stores and transitioning more into the fat burning. So awesome. I'm glad that I've been doing kind of the same thing as what you've been doing. Not that I've gone as long as you, but maybe someday.
Well, nobody necessarily needs to do this. I just felt like it was the challenge I needed in this moment in my life. It just seemed the stars aligned that I needed to do this at this time.
Well, awesome. I am so glad you're doing it and sharing your journey with us. I've learned a lot in the last week, and appreciate you.
Thank you, Shanna. I appreciate you as well. And by the way, no exercise and no supplements either. So people are like, what supplements do you take? I'm like, no, you don't want to make your body think you're getting nutrients. And so if you put supplements into your body, it's going to think you're getting food, and it's going to stoke hunger hormones. So I don't take any supplements either. I'm trying to think, have I taken any other than the activated charcoal, which is the binder? I haven't taken, I might take vitamin D3, because still trying to do a prophylactic for COVID, but I haven't. I've stayed off of it. because I think I'm being in the sun enough. I'm getting plenty of vitamin D production that way. And plus my immune system by this point in the fast has completely turned over, and it's fresh. It's brand new. It's ready to take on the world. Thank you, Shanna. Joshua, are you back? Hey, bud.
The mute button here.
Yeah, man. What you got for us?
Hey, I just had a question to it. You actually answered quite a bit of it on with the last question there. I did a 7-day fast that I broke at 5 days because I was just feeling terrible, but I was also trying to do my normal workout right through.
Yep.
And I know after I was like, okay, this is probably why. Because I was doing broth and like salty broth. That was the only thing I was taking in, and water and black coffee, I should say.
Right.
But my question was like, if your goal is, say like your overarching goal is to build muscle, and you're fasting as like more of the health side of things.
Yep.
I noticed you mentioned that you kind of have an anabolic window right after a fast.
That's right.
And like, is there anything? Can you do like more relaxed, like strength style training? Do you think in a fast rather than like intense glycolytic stuff, or is that you just try and stay away from exercise?
Yeah, you really need to stay away from it all, because any of that is just going to stoke hunger. I think if someone like yourself who is fit and is active, you want to kind of like enhance the benefits of that. I think an occasional 3-day fast for you, 72 hours, would give you all the autophagy benefits of fasting. Plus you would get the growth hormone benefits, which then you could hit it hard at the gym. But in those 3 days, I'd say day 1, you could do probably some kind of a exercise. Day 2, hold off, because you're going to be feeling like crap day 2 anyway. Day 3, when you're at the end of it, do your workout then, and then eat and break your fast.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Dang, I had another question in my head, but now it's blanking on me.
You know how to find me on Instagram, dude. Just send it to me on Instagram if you remember. Thank you.
That's good.
Thank you, Joshua.
Confirmed what I was thinking. Thank
Yes, sir. Audria, what's up, my dear? Hello.
I missed some of the episodes or the rooms you've done on fasting, and I was wondering, I've done a long fast before. The longest I've ever done was, I think it was 4 days, 48 hours, not 48 hours, 4 days. But what is the sweet spot for starting to become fat adapted when you're fasting? I'm not familiar with where you start to burn the most fat.
So it kickstarts really high, Audria, right around that 72-hour mark. I don't know what it is. It's different for everybody. Let's just give that caveat up front. Some people get it kick in day 2.5. Other people, it takes them to day 5 before they get this. But there's some dramatic shift. And I've done a lot of testing. I'm not testing this time because I need as stress-free as possible, and testing stresses me out. But in the past, when I have done these longer fasts, I have tested and seen that on day 1, it's keto. It's 0.8 on the ketones, 93 on the blood sugar. Okay, great. Day 2, all right, now it's 1.1 and it's 88 on the blood sugar. Okay, great. Day 3, it just, creepy crawly. It goes at 1.4 on the blood ketones down to 85. And then suddenly on day number 4, 4.7 on the blood ketones, 61 on the blood sugar. That is when the switch happens. This is why I tell people, if you make it to 72, keep going, because you're just starting that really kickstarting into that heavy fat burning mode. And the fact that I've lost 23 pounds in 13 days, my body's like responding extremely well. And it tells me I needed to do this a long time ago, but my body stress-wise wasn't ready until now. So does that answer the question, Audria?
That does answer the question. I wanted to ask about, you mentioned before about growth hormones.
Yep.
About when does that kick in? I missed that part.
Yeah, so keep in mind, it's all levels. Like autophagy starts at 18 hours, but it's in full force by 72 plus hours of fasting. Same with growth hormone. It's going to start pretty quick, but then to get the full effects of it by that 72-hour mark, which is why you hear a lot of fasting advocates say, try to do a 48 to 72-hour fast, because if you get to that point, you've gotten most of those like benefits that are talked about quite a bit. I think if you push it longer, it's just a testament to the healing that takes place in those first few days, so that then you continue the healing if you decide to go longer.
Thank you so much, Jimmy.
Thank you, Audrey. Great questions. Pete, what you got for me?
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
You were the first keto book I ever read.
Thank you.
Very much. Big fan. I've done I did the lemonade, the master cleanse for 10
Yes.
days, then I did it for 30 days.
Woo!
I kind of messed up. I don't think I could ever do it again. I can't even stand the smell of it now. But do you recommend doing a fast with electrolytes? Or?
Yes, that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay. Anything else? Bone broth? Or
Nope. I've done the bone broth thing before, and I wrote about this in my part of the Complete Guide to Fasting. I tried the bone broth thinking I would need something, and what I found was the amino acids in that bone broth actually stoked hunger in me. And it makes sense. Like your body senses that that's nutrition. Yes, it's liquid nutrition, but it's still nutrition. And so I avoid all nutrition. I eat 0 calories because I think that's the only way you stay solvent and not have that hunger bug hit you, which is your nemesis.
Stomach ache if I try to do like just a water fast.
Yeah. Oh, really? So do you do salt with the water as well, Pete?
Yeah, I was buying the liquid IVs and stuff, but should I do a more natural, like make my own?
Yeah, I think like I've got a little plate of Redmond's real salt next to me here. I've taken a few pinches while we've been on here today, and I've got water by me all day. I think maybe when you start feeling bad, it's probably because you didn't have a high quality salt. So Redmond's real salt, pink Himalayan sea salt. Some people even like the rock salt because you could just stick it under your tongue and just sit there and suck on it, and you literally feel like you're being nourished when you do that.
Okay, I lost you for a second. I didn't mean to interrupt you. And so I was doing like the snake, the snake juice guy.
Yep,
right?
Cole, yeah.
His is okay, right? I mean, I basically bought
he's all right.
It's like the potassium.
I don't like his wordy dirt mouth, but other than that, his plan's good.
What about dry fasting?
Oh, thank you for asking about dry fasting. No bueno. I think the secret elixir to a fast going well is completely drinking as much as you need, because dry fasting can actually dehydrate you, and before you know it, you can't. You're going to go to the hospital. So we're not a fan. In fact, Dr. Fung and I, we didn't even address dry fasting directly in the book because we didn't want anybody to know about it.
Love Dr. Fung. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Pete. You're freaking me out with your eyes on that logo, dudes.
Those are Bitcoin laser eyes.
Yes, I'm aware. Thank you, Pete.
Thanks, brother.
And then the last one is it Manas?
Yeah, it's Manas.
Manas. Thank you, Manas. What you got for me?
Like now I used to think that I know a bunch of things about fasting, but coming into this room now I feel like I'm such a noob.
No worries.
I'll have I think the questions that noobs do ask, which would be during your fast right now, and even I think the longest I've gone is around 2 days.
Yes.
But my question would be more of during these fasts, so are you just having water, or is it something like some sort of supplements that you're using with water?
Water and salt.
On top of that, is coffee okay? Is black coffee okay or not during fasting?
Yeah, thank you for that. So no, I am doing water and salt. That's it. Nothing else. And I'll tell you, it took me many years of doing the bone broth. For a while there, I thought I needed kombucha to keep my gut health solvent, I made so many mistakes, and I try to cut to the chase to help people now that want to do a longer fast. Don't make the mistakes I did, because you will hurt so much. So no, water and salt. Redmond's real salt is what I use. They're not a sponsor or anything. I just think they have the best salt out there. And then water, I use a nice filtered water to get the impurities out of it. And that's pretty much the sole sustenance. Now, you asked about coffee, and everybody asks, coffee. Coffee is going to be a hit or miss for you. So I would say if you like coffee, it's going to have to be black, obviously.
Yeah, I love black coffee.
Okay, good. And this is for the audience as well. So no cream, not even just a little bit, no sweetener. I think all those things will stoke hunger. And for some people, just the caffeine in the black coffee will stoke hunger because it can impact the insulin in some people. So I'd say for you, Manas, try it, see how you feel, and if you get a boost out of it, great. Keep in mind, coffee is a diuretic, so it's going to suck even more water out of your body, so you have to replenish the water from that as well.
So just to build up on that, so I usually am one who can have coffee and like go to bed within half an hour. So
Yeah.
it's just like having decaf coffee, like, okay, then give it the
I
fast.
think it's 6 of one, half a dozen of another. It certainly would mitigate. Even decaf coffee still has some caffeine in it, minimal, but it still has caffeine in it. So it's something worth trying to see if you feel like you need that. But I want to challenge you. If you've never gone on a water and salt only fast, try it. Don't think you need a crutch like coffee. Don't think you need these things, because you might surprise yourself just how little you need those things.
And what's like the water and salt thing? Usually, is it kind of okay to balance out the salt as the way you like it, or do you recommend something?
Oh, I put it under my tongue. I literally have it on the plate over here. I just grab a little pinch, stick it underneath my tongue. That's how I get it in me.
Gotcha.
You could put it in your water if you wanted to, and I know some people, they oscillate between having a salt water, and then the next glass is fresh water, and then the next glass is salt, and they just kind of do that all day.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate all your great questions. And it looks like somebody else wanted to come up. Zane, I'm trying to get you up, but it's not letting me bring you up. So either back out and come back in, or I can't get you. There you are. Zane, what you got for me, bud?
Hey, what's going on, Jimmy?
Hey, man.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of doing a day one situation.
Yep.
I'm sort of transitioning from like I heard y'all talking about keto a lot. I'm actually sort of transitioning. Like, I've been trying to wean off meat a little. My partner went keto, so I basically tried it. So I'm thinking about doing like more plant-based, and it's weird. I've been hearing a lot of people talk about, like, I heard somebody talking about a long fast they did, and they said they ate like some dates every 2-3 days because they're talking about how you need sugar. Because I'm very well aware. I actually went to a crazy steakhouse to because like I'm fasting and like the heavy fasting.
Right.
But yeah, I was just wondering if you could speak on that. If you've heard much of like they like your brain needs some sugar like every couple of days or something. I know you're talking about the salt. So because I'm kind of trying to transition from that. Like, I purposely ate like a fat heavy meal. So
Yes.
You could speak on that.
That's a great question, Zane, and I'm going to move you back to the audience. A little noisy on the background. So the glucose thing is a very fascinating subject. Everybody thinks, well, the body can't make glucose unless you feed it glucose, and thus what you've heard about the dates. Did you know your body can make all the glucose it needs? It's been said many times in these clubhouses. We have essential fatty acids. We have essential amino acids. So that's the fats and the proteins. There is no such thing as an essential carbohydrate acid. And so we don't need carbs to give us that glucose. Our body is very well adept at creating glucose from the fat and protein. Now, in a fasted state, it primarily comes from fat, and it's from the stored body fat that's being released. So when I've been losing this 23 pounds, most of my glucose needs have been coming from that release of the stored body fat, converting through a process called gluconeogenesis through the liver into the glucose that my body needs. So no, you do not need to take dates every few days. And I know you talked about moving away from red meat when you are feeding and trying to be more vegetarian. If that's something you want to do, that's great. Just know you have to have adequate fats in there, and it's extremely difficult to get your complete proteins in there as well. So animal foods are not your enemy. I mean, unless you're doing it for religious reasons or other reasons why you're avoiding red meat. Red meat is extremely healthy. This lady up on stage just below me here, Jennifer, she actually did a film called Fat Fiction, where she talks about some of the concepts of why meat and fat and all of the things that we've been told are bad for us is actually not as bad as you think it is. So go check that out over on Amazon, all the places, right, Jennifer? So let's see. Oh, got one more questions coming up. Yaqueen, I'm trying to bring you up. Just accept the invitation. There you are. What you got for me, Yaqueen?
Hey, Jimmy.
Hey.
So I actually missed the part about dry fasting.
Yes.
I observe Ramadan every year, and I do dry fasting, but historically, with the way, I guess, the culturally and how we break our fast, it's totally the wrong way, in my opinion. But because we have like fried food and, and all this craziness, but this year, just because I've been doing keto and being a little bit more strict on kind of the types of food I'm eating, I kind of want to do it the right way.
Yes.
And I don't know if you can speak to like what would be, how you can utilize it, and what would be the best way to do that. So
correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm a Protestant Christian, and yeah, they ended their fasting periods with pancakes, and I'm like, my God. So is it sun up to sundown that the dry fast is happening?
Correct.
Okay, so you're talking about a 12, 13-ish hour fast. I think in that context, a dry fast is fine. The problem that I have is there's people that want to go 24, 36, or 48 going dry fasting. I'm like, that's entering dangerous mode. But 12 hours, yeah, I think you could do that. And as far as breaking it, I would say make sure you replenish the liquids, the water first. So I would get at least 2-3 glasses of water in your system and replenish that before you introduce food. Now, food has water in it and it can all the things, but sometimes food can suck water out of you. So I'd say make sure you're fully hydrated and then break the fast. And it's such a short fast, you don't really need to worry about how you do it, other than not fried foods is always a good idea. So real foods that are gentle, maybe ones that, and again, it's a short fast, so you don't have to think about it in the terms of like a longer fast like I'm doing. If I was to break a fast now, I couldn't go out and get a 16-ounce ribeye steak. I would die. I would have problems, but I would gently do it. But yeah, 12 hours, 13 hours, no big deal.
Thanks, Jimmy. Yeah, I'm going to try to avoid all the fried food and the goodies that they have during breaking our fast. But thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. All right, looks like Pete wants to come back up. Pete's harassing me with those evil eyes again. What you got, bud?
I'm fangirling you. Sorry.
That's all good.
I forgot to ask you one thing. So the only thing that, and I'm not going to do it, but the only thing that intrigued me about the dry fast was Cole saying that you were somehow releasing this water, metabolic water, and it was like this perfect water. Is that all just pseudoscience?
There's no science to it, Pete. Honestly, I love Cole other than his potty mouth, but I think a lot of this stuff is just conjecture by those of us that are influencers, that, he's trying to set himself apart from everybody else. I suppose you could dump that old water and then replenish. But again, like I was just telling Yaqueen, I would think if you did a 12 to 13 hour dry fast, I wouldn't be opposed to that. It's just when these people try to push it 24, 48, that's when it starts getting dangerous.
Yeah, he's doing it for a week. Yeah,
whoa! Yeah, I'm not I would not recommend that at all.
I'm not doing it at all.
Yeesh. I'm sitting here sipping on water and I'm thirsty right now. Like I literally thirsty. So then the ketones do that to you as well. I think the higher ketones actually end up in your mouth and you kind of have this natural thirst. That would be murderous if I couldn't drink water.
Right.
Wow.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Pete. Wow, you guys shocked me today. I didn't know there'd be so much interest in this, but this is why I went live today here on Clubhouse. Fasting Clarity Clubhouse. Click on the green house at the top. If you like this kind of content, we're going to do this, and we're going to talk about intermittent fasting and other forms of fasting. So please keep coming back. Subscribe. I also have a sister clubhouse called Keto Clarity, where we talk about all things keto. I've written books on both fasting and clarity, keto, and brought lots of clarity to both of those subjects. And so go subscribe, you guys. Thank you also to Instagram. I've been live over at my main page, Living Low Carb Man, over there. And if you're new to me doing the Clubhouse format Instagram, I'm usually live on Jimmy on Clubhouse. So go follow that over on Instagram. Usually there's replays of this. So this one here will be on replay for everyone over on my main page at Living Low Carb Man. I also put them up over on YouTube. Just type in a keyword, Jimmy on Clubhouse. You'll find all the past episodes. As far as I know, nobody's doing this with Clubhouse, so I like to be a groundbreaker with new things. So thank you guys for being here, and thank you for supporting my fast. Wish me luck as I get to the last 2/3 of this 40-day fast. We'll see you guys around the Clubhouse. All right, let me turn this around for you guys, because I've been jibber-jabbering my mouth for over an hour to them. What up, guys? How are y'all? I hope you really know how inspiring you are. Thank you, J.S. Martin. I just want to constantly challenge myself. I think those of us that have been at this for so long, it's very easy to just ride the wave of what you've always done. And you guys know me well enough. I don't do that. I constantly try to learn more about myself, quite frankly, because I'm still learning. I'm 49 years old now, and I'm still learning that I can push my body more than I have. Even though I pushed it a lot and done lots of things over the years, this is a challenge I wanted to take on. And yeah, daunting. Erin Louise belling at me. Oh, hello, little lady. I know who you are. How's it going? Feeling good? Yeah, I feel great. Like I am full on energetic. Brain is firing on ketones, obviously. Yeah, the only issues I've had is the diarrhea, which I've been told by some medical professionals that that's my body fighting something off. And I do have a pseudonoma on my legs, and it is clearing up, but it's something that my body had to deal with. And it was not, they wanted me to go on antibiotics, and I thought I can fast. And so it seems to be helping. My sweet joy, is this live going to be saved? Yes, right here on the Living Low Carb Man IGTV. Just as soon as I'm done, I will put it up over there, so you can watch it there. You can also watch it on YouTube on replay. Jimmy on Clubhouse, a keyword, you'll find it. Do you need to take a potassium? Yeah, we answered all these questions in the midst of this episode, so go back and watch. But in short, no, you don't need to take a potassium supplement. I basically have been doing Redmond's Real Salt. Got a little plate of it, keep it next to me all day, get a little pinch, stick it underneath my tongue, and that's how I keep my electrolytes up. Drink my water, dilly. And yes, if you missed it earlier, I've lost 23 pounds in 13 days. Not doing it for the weight loss, but I'm not gonna lie, I can feel that some inflammation has gone down. I had pain in my left knee. I banged my knee on my back deck about 6 months ago. And it hurt. I mean, it hit hard. And so it's been sore, right at kind of the ACL. And so it's been sore. And when I started this fast on day 2 and day 3, it was screaming at me in pain. Little did I know, I think it was healing. Because today, I can bounce up the stairs and it doesn't hurt at all. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, it's called Redmond Real Salt. Look up Redmond Real Salt, REDMOND. They're here on Instagram if you want to look them up. But guys, any last questions before I get off of here? I've been a marathon session with Clubhouse, but I wanted to talk directly to you guys. I don't usually go live over on the Living Low Carb Man page, but I wanted to give you guys a surprise today, since I've been telling you and sharing on my page all about my fast. So, Keto Nate, do you know anybody who has done water fasting while working a physically demanding job for 10 hours a day? No, not for this long. I think you could probably pull 1 or 2 days of that, Nate, but unfortunately, because of a physically demanding job, it's going to be the antithesis of trying to do a fast. So my recommendation is, if you get a block area of days off from work, maybe try to implement it that way. So if you get 2 or 3 days off in a row, like it's a long holiday weekend or something, maybe you could try it that way and see if you can do it. I do think everybody should try to implement at least a 3-day fast now and again. That is a great way to turn over your cells, create the autophagy, get the human growth hormone, all the things that we talked about in my book, The Complete Guide to Fasting. So if you haven't read that book yet, it's probably my best-selling book besides Keto Clarity. And I wrote this with Dr. Jason Fung. When did it come out? 2016 is when it came out. 5 years ago, but people still love it. I was trying to do intermittent fasting 19.5. So with that 10 hours of physically demanding workout, or work, just know that that's going to come with hunger. So if you can do the 19.5, I think that's great, Nate. I don't know if I could do a 10-hour a day physically demanding and then try to fast completely through that. Yeah, that would be tough, really tough. But thank you for that question. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. And definitely, if you missed any of this, pop it back at the replay right as soon as this is over. I'll put it over on IGTV right here on Living Low Carb Man, as well as over on YouTube. But thanks for being here, and we'll see you later.